first book that we're going to be doing. As I have 10 minutes, I thought, brilliant, I'll sit down and we'll do The Deadly Messiah, yeah, by David Campbell and Albert Faye Hill. Look at that artwork. Is that just the most stunning thing? There you go. Just look at that artwork. Now, this is a first edition paperback. My darling daughters bought it for me as my Christmas present, not last year, but the year before. So we're talking 2022. Yeah, I think this came in my Christmas present for 2022 or 2023, one of them. And yes, my daughters went on a big search for this because it's just fabulous, right? And there isn't another book that I've ever read that is quite like The Deadly Messiah. It's a 1970s fabulous, unique, apocalyptic, end of the world horror with a twist. Yeah, it really is. It is absolutely unique. I have done a very extensive review of this book on my long form video, of which give it a listen because it is fabulous, but we are going to talk about it today. And The Deadly Messiah, as I say, it's by David Campbell and Albert Faye Hill. And let me just read the blurb on the back for you. The apocalyptic killer. Does that just not want you to read it? It was a fine June day when Bensonville, Kentucky died. When the sun set, the town was ravaged, devastated by a mysterious epidemic of terrifying proportions. A week later, disaster strikes again and then again. As the country hovers on the brink of a national panic, the president appoints his special assistant to head a team of experts, including an astrologer detective, to solve the impossible death riddle. Only one thing is certain: when the full moon exactly squares Saturn and Mars in rising opposition to Uranus, 80 million people are going to die. Can the Deadly Messiah be stopped in time? 2 reviews on the back: a nightmarish drama, an ingenious suspenseful chiller, Publishers Weekly; an irresistible page turner, the Library Journal. And I have no idea what my daughters paid for this book, but when it originally was published in the United Kingdom, it was worth 95 pence. Hi, hey there, Space Nut. And let me just say, it was published by Granada Publishings Limited in Panther Books in 1978. And it was originally first published in the United States of America by Athenaeum Publishers, 1976. So next year, the American version, like me, will be 50 years old. And this, oh my goodness me, I guarantee you will not I honestly, I promise you, you will not find another book like this. It is absolutely unique in more ways than one. Now let's see who has joined us. Good morning, Space Nut. Hello, Alan, my darling. How are you today? Oh, everyone, hello. How are you doing? Yeah, I want to know something crazy about publishing. Oh, I'm glad you're okay, Alan. That is a beautiful day. Beautiful, beautiful sunny day. Hello, hello. Britannia Publishing House now don't publish books but instead use the data set they had as a training data set for known as Britannia AI. Really? Oh. So they don't publish any more books. It's all done by machine. Can I just say we're not doing politics on here, thank you? So, let me explain a little bit about this. We have a deranged killer running around, and he's doing it in the most appalling way possible. Really? Well, I suppose they were losing that much money, they can't actually afford to do any more printing at all. We've had toast and coffee for breakfast, is what we've had for breakfast. So, the deranged killer is not, how can I put it? He's earthreal, or he at least believes he is. And he calls himself the Deadly Messiah. Yeah, it's a shame. I thought it was a British institution. Me too. Yes, I know, exactly. I'm going to be doing some reading for you. But as I say, we've done this book as a book review. But I'm going to pick you a section and I'm going to read it to you because it'll give you a feel for what the book's about. I'm going to find you one of the juicy bits. Let me think. Where am I going to start reading from? I think here. This one, this bit here. Dr. Nyland treated old Mrs. Heath for years. Grandma Heath had confounded the doctors with her survival. She had been given up as a hopeless case many years before, but her cancer of the colon had not progressed, and she had just lived on and on. She and the cancer had become adjusted to each other, had worked out a sort of truce. So he was shocked to see her that morning. Mrs. Heath was unconscious and as white as the dress of the nurse who cradled her old head in her arms. There was really nothing Nyland could do. Nor was the only case of cancer. Little Ted Farney, who lived with a regressed case of leukemia, collapsed and was brought to the hospital unconscious. John Helfer had seemed to have recovered from his cancer of the prostate, but when Ken Fisher treated him that morning, or rather when he had tried to treat him, he was suffering from an advanced case of metastatic cancer. Both he and Ted Farney died within an hour after being brought to the hospital. It was the boy with the acne who made Fisher finally realize that they had to have help. He was 13 years old and the son of George Hinton, vice president of the furniture factory. Dick Hinton had a horror of acne because of his father's scarred face. When the inevitable teenage pimples began to appear, he became overwrought, almost paranoid, and spent hours inspecting himself in the mirror and washing his face with medicated soap. Whenever anyone looked at him for more than a second, Dick was sure they were staring at his slightly acned face. That morning, when his father broke through the crowd at the door and staggered into the emergency room with Dick in his arms, Fisher not only gasped, he almost screamed in horror, a thing that as a physician he had never come close to doing before. The child's features were a mass of pus and blood. His lips were like balloons, and even his ears bled. His face and body were saturated with bulbous, infectious acne. Ken, look at him. Help me, for God's sakes. I've been trying to get to you ever since I woke up this morning and found him like this. Please do something. Fisher took the boy from his father and laid him on the table. Dick and his own son were best friends and spent hours together swimming in the pond at the club and searching among the cattails on the far banks for crawdads and frogs. He unbuttoned the boy's jeans and pulled down his underwear. Even his lower body and upper legs were covered with the hideous sores. He quickly gave the boy a shot of penicillin, not because he thought it would do much good, but because he had to do something. Suddenly, Fisher threw his head back and gave a terrible, obscene cry. He pounded his fists on the wall and cursed at the top of his voice. Over the babble, Nylan heard it and came running. Ken, snap out of it. Damn, what's happening here? Look at these people. Not a goddamn thing we do makes any difference. They just die and die and die. We have to pull in help from somewhere. Why in God's name haven't we sent for somebody? We haven't saved one single soul, and we still stand here, sticking needles into moribund bodies. Why haven't we sent for? He choked, and his speech began to garble as his thoughts floundered. For the National Guard, and the Mayo Clinic, and the Marines, and some doctors. Nylan put his arm around his friend's shoulders and said, "You're right, Ken. This is a lot worse than we could have dreamed. We need help. We've got to call the hospital in Chalmers, and we have Jack Hughes bring medicine ambulances and men to help us. Why don't you make that call?" "My God, what'll I tell them? That people are dying from chicken pox and ear infections and acne? What is this? Is the whole town rotting away? Have all the plagues of the Middle Ages come back?" "It looks like it. I'll do what I can, but you try to get some help for us." "I'll get it, God, Bill," said Fisher pathetically. "I don't even know about my own wife and kids. They may be out there in this madhouse. I haven't had a chance to call home. And didn't Myrtle tell you that your boys were—" Nylan turned away. He said she was going to bring them here. "If you see them in that mob, will you—" And then his voice broke, and he moved blindly back to his patients. The telephone switchboard was on the wall of blinking lights and sounding buzzers. Operator Louis DeVoe had worked until her own head swam with fever. When the sweat and the bad chills came, she had fainted and now lay on the floor unconscious. Unable to do anything for her, Ken Fisher numbly groped his way back through the crowd in the corridor. "Bill, I'll have to make it an outside phone. Lois has been hit too." From the window he could see a constantly swelling mass of patients crying for treatment and hammering on the outside of the emergency door. The ambulance came screaming, careering into the parking lot again, depositing patients on the lawn. He hesitated for a moment, then opened the window and climbed out. He had barely landed on the grass when a woman screamed, "Dr. Fisher's running away! Stop him!" Instantly he was surrounded by a desperate people, shrieking imprecations and begging for help. He couldn't move. The long-held tears began to run down his sweating face. That is what you're dealing with. It's an apocalyptic novel of grand proportions. Every time this plague hits town, people are dying from their teeth rotting out of their heads. It is absolutely awful. Every town that the deadly Messiah goes to with his black magic occult practices manages to wipe out town after town, and it's a deadly game of cat and mouse as they go across the state of the United States of America, and what a state it's in, because people are dropping dead left, right and center, and they are hot on the heels of the deadly Messiah. He believes he is the Antichrist. He's absolutely insane, and he wants to wipe out the entire human race. And will Mystic Meg, our intrepid astrologer detective, will she and the doctors and the policemen and the army and the president of the United States, will they find him in time before he tries to kill 80 million people in the state of New York? Will they stop him in time? It's a proper trip down memory lane. For those of you who were born in the 60s and had teenage years in the 70s, it's nostalgia on steroids. New York is described so eloquently and so beautifully. It's just an absolute treat. I cannot recommend this book enough. Every town that this deadly Messiah goes through, the residents die in horrific circumstances. Spots, acne kills you. A cavity in your tooth kills you. Cancer kills you. You know, the common cold kills you. Chicken pox kills you. German measles. It's as though every disease that mankind has ever experienced is on absolute flipping steroids. And that's the first book that I'm going to recommend to you for this weekend. I do believe it's available on Kindle. And if you want to give yourself an absolute treat, can I recommend to you The Deadly Messiah? Honestly, it comes with a 10 out of 10 recommendation from the fairy. It's an absolute joy. It's a trip back to the 1970s. And didn't the 1970s do apocalyptic fiction fantastically? It is just amazing. And I truly hope that you'll enjoy. Now let's go see who's been chatting to us. Let's go back. Let's go back to where... Where did we get to? Yeah, there we are. Yes, less talking, more reading. Yes, exactly. Hello. Sorry, just a couple that I've had to go and put into timeout because that was just not called for. Sorry, there's some very strange people on here today. Sorry, I just had to put a few people in. I do ironing for a living, my dear. There we go. Hello, everyone. Yes, hello, hello. So I really hope you will enjoy. Yes, I know. Isn't it a fantastic book? Honestly, it's one of the most unusual books you will ever read. Yes, I am. I am discussing the United States of America in the 1970s, and it is an absolute gem of a book, is The Deadly Messiah. Like I say, you can find it on Kindle, and may I recommend it for the bank holiday weekend. It's a completely unique book. You will never ever find another one quite like it. It is just absolutely stunning. It really is. I know it, but it's such a good book, and I just love it. And if you want to know a little bit more about it, I did a review for it in long form on one of my videos, so you'll be able to find it there. Oh, I can't. I'm not a writer. I'm just a reader. But I love to promote books and tell people about them and read them, because I find the more unusual, apocalyptic, end of the world style books. And I thought, since I had 10 minutes, I would be able to sit down with you. Oh, thank you for reading it too. That's just a small part of the third chapter, I believe. And I just thought I'd give you a feel for what the book was like. And, yeah, you can die of absolutely anything. Once this deadly messiah with his occult powers and his ability to inflict deadly plagues, even just with a common cold, and it is, will they catch him in time before he takes out the entire state of New York City? There we go. Oh, my hair is very blonde. Yeah, they are there. I'm very blonde. Yeah, pestilence, the plague, the four horses of the apocalypse. Yeah, the four horsemen. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, I can't read the entire book for you, my darling, because of copyright issues. It's not going to happen. But if I just read you a tiny amount, it gives you an idea. And if you want to, you can go find the book yourself and read it and have a jolly good time, because it is absolutely brilliant. Sorry. No, I'm not an editor. No. Yes, I am. Very much so. Yes, I am married. Yes, well, they're getting wiped. So don't worry. They're not going to be on for long. Oh, thank you, Space Note. That's wonderful. Oh, bless you. He is the unsung hero of these streams. He's such a love. Alan, I couldn't do the streams without you, my darling. Oh, thank you. You are just a wonderful person, Alan. You really are. Oh, oh dear. Where am I from? I'm from the United Kingdom, my dear. Yeah, exactly. That's all we're trying to do, is spread happiness and joy with apocalyptic fiction. Because believe me, apocalyptic fiction is the way forward. If you can't beat them, you might as well join them. and I do hope that you give The Deadly Messiah a go and give it a read. Now, my darlings, I'm going to have to disappear for a little bit longer because I've been on for half an hour and I need to get some serious cleaning done. Take care. I know I love apocalyptic fiction. We might as well have fun. What does the song go like? We had joy, we had fun, dancing in the sun, but the sun got too hot and we all turned to rot. Something like that. I can't remember the song. It just goes a bit like that. Thank you, Asmat, for staying on, and how did we go about that? I have literally no idea. We'll have to discuss this some other time, a bit later on. But have a good day, everybody. I shall be on later with another apocalyptic book for you for the bank holiday weekend, and it will be a surprise. Okay? But I do recommend this. It's 10 out of 10. Absolute gold standard of weird 1970s apocalyptic, occult, serial killers, you name it. Everything's in this book, and it's absolutely bonkers. And it's just brilliant. No, I don't. Oh, dearie me. There we go. Harry has been eliminated. And have a really lovely day, and I shall be on later, as I say, with another book for bank holiday weekend, and it's going to be it's going to be a good one. It's going to be an absolute belter. It really will. Take care, my darlings. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you all soon. And Alan, mwah, thank you, my darling. And Space Note, mwah, thank you, my darling. You are all here helping, and I love you for it. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.